why going all in on something will tremendously increase and hijack your bliss in life.
Let's guzzle down some bliss. I love you. Be blessed.
Welcome to the Blissful Breakfast. I'm Briggs. It is an absolute joy to have you here today. I am ecstatic to be in your presence. Welcome to the day. All right, so my name is Briggs. I made a card game. In 2020, I kickstarted my card game, Wizards and Relics. I raised over like 23 grand to get it manufactured, built a fan base, had over 700 people back it, and it was an absolute joy. And it was the first time in my life that I actually decided to like do something and go all in on it. I picked one thing and I spent months and years building it and building it up and sticking with it and brought it to market. And it caught attention, and that act of actually choosing one thing, going all in, has been so fueling for my life. It's been such a pleasure, such a beautiful taste in my mouth, because I'm the type of person who procrastinates. I slack off. I try to do too many things. I like to start a billion projects and never complete any of them. So when I finally decided to complete one thing to bring it all the way to the finish line, oh my gosh, did doors open up in my life? Did my life get way better? It was very challenging. It was very hard. I had to like challenge my own fears and limiting beliefs about finishing something, about being vulnerable, bringing it out there, putting so much time and effort into one thing when it's so easy for me to want to just give up or not, bring something 3/4 of the way through. So today's episode of The Blissful is all about helping me to see when we go all in, when you go deep, when you really flex and master one muscle, one thing. And that's not a great I don't think that's a super ideal analogy. But when you pick one thing, like, you can't do too many things. I've learned this lesson so freaking hard. I got nowhere in life trying to be mediocre, trying to do a bunch of different things. I'm not saying that can't work for you. I'm not saying that can't work in life. I think you can do everything. It's just you can't do it all at the same time. That seems to be the lesson that I'm being taught. That's a lot of masters kind of say the same thing. You have to focus on one thing. You can't do everything at once. If you try to chase too many rabbits, you won't catch any of them. And just the amount of confidence and bliss that I have in my life since completing like a big project like this, since raising and kind of getting over 700 people to buy into my thing, to pre-order it, to give me money for my creative work, feels really good. And that's not the kind of confidence I've had before. Like, it feels so good to actually do that. And it's one of those things where you get what you put into it. If you put in a lot of work, you're going to get something out of it, something. And so for my whole life, like, I've been this artist who doesn't, I used to believe I was born in the wrong time period, right? Like, I used to think, oh yeah, to be an artist, with my skills, I would have had to be like this Renaissance painter, paint portraits before there was photography, and later realized, like, absolute bullshit. Like, this is the best time to be alive as an artist. But in order to do something worthwhile, you have to like commit yourself to it. You can't just slack off. And I am a freaking natural slacker, okay? Natural, just lanky, white, Scandinavian kid in America that just kind of takes everything for granted. And, I've been through some bullshit in my life for sure, but like, just had it easy enough where I just had to really learn that you got to work for stuff the hard way. You gotta really work. You got to put in the effort. You got to put in the time. So if you're listening, like, and you're unfulfilled, or maybe you have accomplished a certain measure of things, the things that you have accomplished, think about what you've done. You probably put in a lot of work, whether it was like baseball or sports or even music or band. And in school, you probably practiced a fair amount. Maybe you were forced to, or, whether it's like you went to a ton of different shows and you know all the lyrics of a bunch of different songs, or I'm sure there's something that you did that you spent a lot of time. Maybe it's a video game. Maybe you just dominate World of Warcraft raids or Call of Duty or League of Legends. I don't know what you're playing, or Fortnite or Minecraft. You can just beat the Ender Dragon in no time flat. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure there's something that you're like you dominate in. And the time of effort and passion and joy, like it all kind of intertwines, but you've put in hours, you've been playing Halo like every night for, months or whatever the thing is, or writing or, whatever it is, the thing is, or maybe your regular day job. If you have a day job or you went to school for something, devoting 4 years or 8 years, or like if you're a doctor, going to medical school, or if your regular day job, whatever the thing is, the skill that you learn to do to make money, you probably invested a certain amount of time. So for our side, like for me, I'm like I want to make my side hustles like my full-time job, right? Like I want to create things and bring them to the world. I have a vision for my life, but how do I actualize that? And it's like, it's not a super like surprise. I'm realizing like I had to spend like 2.5, nearly 3 years working on the same project, the same thing, iterating it, testing it, playing it with new people, going out of my comfort zone, going to shows, going to like different events, trade shows, conventions, talking to new people, learning new things, joining different groups, connecting with new people in order to figure out the skills that I needed. I had to pay for coaching. I had to pay for courses. I needed to like expand what I was doing and do things I had never done before to get to the next level, to be able to learn how to use a crowdfunding platform, learn how to start a business, learn how to create a game, create a rule book where people can actually figure out how to play the game. And just devoting myself and going all in produced so much fruit because I actually got, people to write about me, people to like create content for me. I actually got hundreds of people back in my thing, talking about my thing, giving me money for something, for my creative work as an artist. If you're watching the video of this, this is my game. I'm an artist, right? So like, just you kind of grow up with a starving artist mentality. Can't be a career, can't really do it for work. I do actually do motion graphics and design and illustration and videography and video editing and stuff like that. For my day job, I do get money to, I do like get paid to be creative. I had to go through a windy path to get there, but even just like to a next level degree of like my own work, people like buying my own product and not just my work as a service, but as a product. Like that's what I really want, is to have a product of like my artwork, my design, my stuff, and for it to be practical, for people to enjoy it. And so that's like my dream. And so I put in the effort to like create this, to draw it. I illustrated all the cards. I designed all the things, the look of it, the packaging and everything. Had a lot of help from awesome friends, like testing it and like helping me like sharpen the game, make it good. Design new characters and new cards and to just own in on the gameplay and everything. So I definitely got help with that, which I'm so grateful for. But, to like make something a reality as an artist, it just is so fulfilling to see that happen. And I know you're an artist of some kind. I know you have some type of art. And if you want to like take that to the next level, or even just take the point of this podcast, right, is to get bliss, is to get a little happier, a little bit more joyful about life, to enjoy this 3D experience just a little bit more. And so to circle back to the point of this episode, is that when you do something you love and you do it to a hardcore ability, when you go deeper and further and focus on just this one thing you love, when you have to choose, because it's freaking hard to choose. There's a lot of things, man. I'd like to play guitar. I'd play drums. I'd like to do this project, that project, do a novel, do a wordless picture book. I want to do this, that, and a billion things. I have like 8 games ready to roll out, but like, man, nothing's going to happen unless you focus on the one thing at a time, being in the present moment and focus and just generating a lot of energy into one thing. And that's going to produce a spark of joy. Because I wasted a lot of nights. I don't know if I want to say wasted, but I invested my time in a lot of nights, doing what we all do, playing video games, watching TV, doing a bunch of different stuff. But it wasn't until I really decided to sacrifice in certain areas of my life and focus on just one thing and putting in the time and effort and sacrifice. And like, boom, the level of joy in my daily life is more because I have a purpose, I put in effort, and I got some results. And it's not super big. By comparison, not very big. I want to go bigger. I want to go higher. I want over $100,000 Kickstarters. At some point when I'm able to handle it, I'd love, over $1 million crowdfunding events, pre-order sessions for my products and games. But right now I did something and it felt good. And I have, some level of success. And what's interesting is like I couldn't handle any more. I was exhausted. Completing a Kickstarter was so exhausting. I didn't send my game to print for like 4 months after. I intended to do it within weeks, which was stupid to even think I could do that. But still relatively quickly. Like it's so difficult. There's so many things, and I had most of the art done already. Oh my gosh. But yeah, some games, it's like years before they send it to print, or over a year. It takes a lot of time. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But wow, I'm just cruising. I probably went on like 7 bunny trails and forgot where I'm at. So today's good. So, I'm really proud of this game. And so actually, let's use this as an opportunity to talk about the sponsor of this episode and really of this whole podcast is Wizards and Relics, my first card game, Wizards and Relics. It's a game for 2 to 4 players. It's a casual dueling game. It's a multiplayer dueling card game that you can play. You can bring home to Christmas. You can play with your family. You can play with your friends. You can play with non-gamer friends. You can play with like your nephew, your niece. You can play it with your homies before your D&D session. It's actually really great for strategic players. I love strategic card games. I love TCGs like Magic the Gathering. I love drafting and deck building. And this game has a little bit of that action in it. It's simple enough, so it's quick to understand. It's like the game War, the classic card game War, where you just have decks and you flip over a card and you don't know what each other has, and the highest power wins. That's literally this game, but with freaking wizards. If you love Harry Potter, you're gonna love a lot of the themes in this, or Lord of the Rings. We're all about wizard action here. I'm obsessed with wizards and magic and real life magic and fantastical magic and all sorts of stuff. So I combined all that stuff into this game that's strategic yet simple, and I think it's a charmer. It really is. I honestly am really proud of it. I put a ton of work into it, both the visual design and the gameplay. So it's a $30. You can get it at wizardsandrelics.com. The base set is out. Now there's going to be an expansion coming out. We're going to launch early summer, I believe. It may be on the summer solstice, actually, in June. But we're going to do another crowdfunding campaign via Kickstarter. The expansion is called Awakening, the Awakening expansion, and it is phenomenal. It's a standalone game. You can play it by yourself. You can also add it to this base set and to just expand upon gameplay. You could even add it to the base set to play with like 5 or 6 players. Yeah, it's super dope. I'm really proud of it. But yeah, if you don't have this yet, get your hands on it. wizardsandrelics.com, or the publishing company is called Eternal Realms, and the website is eternalrealms.co. Both of those places will get you to the same place. And I would be honored if you would take me up on this and buy some of my art. So, yeah, a word from our sponsor. All right. But yeah, so funding a Kickstarter was really challenging, but it's just so simple. It's like you put effort into something, you're going to get something out of it. I had to spend months designing this page. I had to, get friends to help me with photography and to take pictures. I had to find a print-on-demand company to print a prototype. In Wisconsin, there's the company called The Game Crafter, and so they're pretty good at printing prototypes of games, of board games and card games. And, it's about, it's, what was it, like somewhere between $15 and $25 a copy. Maybe it was cheaper than that, but, at scale, that doesn't, you can't really make a profit off that. But to get prototypes fairly quickly, that was a great option. But yeah, man, it's quite the adventure, because pretty much everyone is interested when you create something, when you talk about it and share about it, share the process. And some people don't think you can do it. And in the community, there were some people that were like, yeah, like, you're not gonna fund on Kickstarter. It's very fascinating. It came from kind of like a well-meaning perspective, and like no judgment on them, but it's funny. Like so I put a lot of time and effort into this and spent years creating it until I like launched it on Kickstarter, but I still didn't do enough work. I didn't give myself enough runway time, and I did a lot of things wrong. And, we're always going to fail. We're always going to do a ton of stuff wrong. But I was so dedicated to this, and I just had to carry it around the finish line. I just decided, and I think this is a very important in life, to like enjoying life and finding bliss is choosing things. Like, you have to choose to find bliss, even when life is going to throw some crap at you. I had to choose. I'm going to take this thing. I don't care if I fail, that's fine. I'm going to relaunch, but I'm going to do everything within my power to fund this and to succeed in this. And because there's people around me that that want to see it succeed. There's people around you that want to see you succeed. And when you get enough people, when you rally enough and you get people in and you include people in your decisions, you include people. I made a lot of posts of just like, hey, this or that, do you like this black card back, or do you like this lighter version one? And you just get people involved, and people want to see you succeed. And I wanted to fund this because there's a lot of people helping me make it, and it's just it's just fun. And I want us all to succeed together. And so for you in your life, listening to this, you have some creative thing or something in your life, and it doesn't have to be a product, it doesn't have to be a business. It could be even cleaning your house, or I don't know what it is that is going on in your life right now that you want to build more community. Maybe it's parenting, maybe it's writing, maybe you want to shift jobs, you want to do something else, you want to move. I don't know what it is. It could be simple, it could be big. Maybe you want to start working out. Putting effort and energy into something, you're going to get it back. And you can't try like a bunch of different things. Don't try just like 7 diets at once. Don't try like 7 different supplements at once. Don't try, to do like 4 different creative projects at once. Pick freaking one of those and go all in on it. And like for me, that is the biggest lesson of finding bliss in life, is actually dedicating myself to one thing. And God, I want to do so many other things, but that's what the masters do. That's what successful business owners do. That's what high performers in life do, whether it's sports or freaking, anything out there. It's going to be picking one thing and dominating it. And that has brought me a lot of bliss. All right. I think that's the main point. That's the main point of this episode. So I don't want to just drag it on too much longer, but chew on that. Let me know if you're spreading yourself too thin. If it's so easy to do that. It's so easy to take on too much, and like saying no is so powerful. I've realized that just saying no to stuff can be so freeing and powerful. And there's times in your life where like the true bliss is saying yes to everything, saying yes to the most ridiculous things. So yes is super powerful. Yes. That is amazing. But sometimes sacrificing, saying no, maybe saying no to some TV, saying no to hanging out with, certain people, or hanging out a lot, or excessive, just hanging out, saying no to even reading books, saying no to a lot of other projects, saying no to a bunch of different things, and just saying yes to a few things that you want to really invest in. Man, that's really helped me to bliss out. All right. Once again, check out my game at wizardsandrelics.com. Wizards Andy Relics, RELICS.com, and pick up a copy of my card game Wizards and Relics. You won't be disappointed. I love you. Stay blissed.